So I just finished watching The Harbinger, the ninth episode of the third and final season of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. I will be talking about spoilers in my review, but if you haven't seen my spoiler-free review, it will be linked in the cards and in the description. But just to recap, while this was a slower episode in some regards, I think it was a very important episode. We got some important answers and the return of a certain character. Though that was revealed in the trailer, so that's not really a spoiler, but spoilers from this point on. This is the episode that sees Ventress's return. I made that prediction in my predictions short, and I was right. But then again, they were building up. The clues were laid in the last episode very effectively, and the title also kind of helped too. So it made sense. It was pretty well laid out. Plus, we knew Ventress was going to return. If we didn't, from the trailer, if that wasn't revealed in the trailer, we probably would not have guessed this at all. Or somebody would have, and we would have said, "Oh, that can't be." We would have dismissed it. But yeah, so Ventress does return, and she answers what M counts are midichlorians. She tells the Bad Batch that, and that the connection with the Force and all that. So Omega's natural question is she Force sensitive? Well, so then Ventress gives her a bunch of tests to see. Now, no blood tests because I don't think Ventress has the equipment to actually test for midichlorians, but basically 3 tests to test her, and actually I think one of them was a distraction, but I'll talk about that later. But except for that one that was a distraction, Omega failed the tests. And I think that's good. I don't think Omega is Force sensitive like a Force user. Now, she might be more in tune to the Force than the average clone, maybe a slightly higher midichlorian count, if you will. But the thing is, she's not Force sensitive. She has no natural attunement, no natural connection to the Force, regardless of what her actual midichlorian count is. And Ventress's test shows that she has no natural connection to the Force. Though, like Sabine Wren, with lots of training and meditation, she might develop a connection, but she has no natural connection. But that second test that Ventress had her do, I think was a pure distraction. Go up to the top of Pabu, to a specific tree to get a specific blossom, and come back down, while her and the Bad Batch actually have a conversation because Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosso thought she was Ventress, and then text database confirmed it, and then they get into a fight, which of course Omega comes back and is like, "What happened?" Yeah, obviously, and then she's let know who Ventress actually is, and then she still, pleads with Crosso more than Hunter, like, "I never gave up on you, that you could change and be a better person," and I think that's what convinced Crosso, and then he convinced Hunter and Wrecker. That happened off screen, but that's what's implied. Now, heading back to Ventress, this episode does show that she's clearly out for herself, like she always is, but she seems a lot kinder than she did in her last appearance in the Clone Wars, namely. Now, her time as a bounty hunter did show that, okay, she was definitely no longer working with the Separatists and was against the Sith now, but she was still very much out for herself, but not as kind as she was in this episode. I think she's mellowed a bit, but I think that has a lot to do with her character in the Dr. Cypher and everything that's happened since Order 66. I just have to speculate on that. And speaking of Dr. Cypher, she did die in the book, but also at the end of this episode, she does say that she still got a few lives left. Now, if you didn't read the book, Dr. Cypher, that line makes sense. If you did read the book, it did make sense because it works with her sarcastic personality either way. Now, I will say this. Multiple lives made me think of a cat, so Ventress is a cat, apparently. Okay, I don't really think, but she could be quite catty at times in the Clone Wars. But I think there was still a problem with this episode, but not a problem from a filmmaking or technical standpoint, from a story standpoint, but from characters not having enough information. We, the audience, know more than all the characters involved about what's going on with the M-Count experiments. We knew about M-Counts meaning midichlorians. We knew that it had something to do with blood samples and Palpatine's blood being put into samples of clone blood, and the Empire seemed to have been testing for M-Count reduction to see if there was a reduction, increase, or anything like that in the M-Count when the 2 blood samples were combined. We know that. The Batch doesn't know that. Ventress doesn't know that. I think Ventress is trying to figure out what's going on with the M-Count bounties herself. And she tasked Fennec to find that stuff out for her. People who are looking for information or somehow connected, and make her aware of that so she can go interrogate them. I think that's what's going on. I think Ventress is just as in the Dark about the Bad Batch about the M Count experiments. She knows more than the Bad Batch, obviously, but she's still lacking the knowledge on what's truly going on. But the thing is that the Empire is focusing on the scientific aspect of the Force. Ventress focused on the spiritual aspect of the Force, which, in my opinion, we should focus more on the spiritual aspect. But the thing is that the way the story is playing out, by not having the information that the Empire is looking at the M counts and make clones very scientifically, and they have a very specific goal in mind that has something to do with adding somebody else's blood into clone blood. But by lacking the knowledge of what the Empire is after relating to the M count experiments, Ventress cannot give a good answer as to why the Empire is after Omega. The only one who can are people with the Empire, so Hemlock and Emery and Nala Se. Hemlock is never going to give that information up. I don't know if Nala Se is even still alive, but she might be because they may still need her. So that leaves Emery, and she may not know everything that's going on, but she knows more than the Bad Batch and more than Ventress. So those are three characters, and they're going to have to do something to get that information if they want to understand why the Empire is after Omega. They now know it has something to do with the Force, but that's it. But we also need to talk about the title, the Harbinger. Ventress is obviously the Harbinger. In fact, this entire episode, the scenery of Pabu has been overcast, gray. That tells me that there's something approaching. A storm, if you will. Something that's going to be bad for everyone involved. Ventress leaves giving the Bad Batch the warning that they should leave while they still have a chance, because the Empire won't give up searching for Omega since they're after her, and somehow it's connected with midichlorians and M-counts. And I'm pretty sure Ventress knows that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. Almost guarantee you she knows that. So that tells me that in another episode too, the Empire is going to be coming to Pabu, which some of the scenes in the trailer do indicate that. And so Ventress, using what little she knows that Pabu is no longer going to be a safe place. And while I don't think she's going to betray them to the Empire, that's just no longer in her character. That still doesn't mean that she doesn't know that the Empire will be searching for peaceful planets like Pabu that are harboring clone deserters, potential Force sensitives, all that. She knows the Empire will be after that planet. It's only a matter of time. So she's a harbinger of worse things to come, even if she herself has been relatively neutral thing going on for the Bad Batch. But those are just my thoughts on the episode. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. You can also stay up to date on my content by following me on social media. I have a link tree down in the description which has all my social media links on it. Additionally, if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and get early access to all my videos. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.